Good evening. We are going to start off today in sitting, and this is the second part of our self-compassion series. Tonight we're going to be adding on the square breath as a way of helping the body just to further dissolve the armor of self-judgment. Not only the type of judgment that contributes to our overall sense of worth, but the armoring that we do that prevents us from being vulnerable. And sometimes with as much unrest and unknown going on, that it can be kind of a default to judge ourselves or kind of hold tension in our bodies and ourselves, which then affects our well-being and even our mental process. So it's very helpful to take the time not only to do practices that help our vagal tone, help us calm down. And what that ends up doing is it helps to soften the muscle tension and eventual kind of armor of judgment we might have on ourselves. So why don't we go ahead and start in sitting? And as I always say, make sure that you have yourself a place that you can sit so that your hips are a little higher than the knees. And what that does is it helps the spine from having to work as hard. It's a more efficient position so that the three curves of the spine are naturally buoyant and the shoulders are stacked on top of the pelvis. Just taking a moment just to settle into this new place of sitting. The sitting can be cross-legged on the floor, or it can be sitting on a chair, more towards the edge of the chair so that your feet can be flat. And if it should so happen that you're sitting and you're just feeling like I've been sitting all day, or it's not comfortable for you, or you're maybe not well right now, then please, by all means, lie down and allow the force of gravity and the force of the earth to sustain you and hold you. So as we settle into this sitting position or this place of coming into our practice, just start to maybe notice what your eyes are doing. And maybe your eyes are scanning the environment a little bit, maybe unconsciously. So let's consciously look around and just look where we are. See where we are, see the walls, the windows, the lights, the fans, and allowing that what we're receiving, this consciousness through our eyes, just to rest back in the sockets. Being aware that we are the receptors as much as the transmitters. And around us, even without a visual field, there is another type of field. And that is the field of loving awareness that has been built through generations of humanity, praying for the well-being of their children, the families, in some capacity for their own health even. And that loving awareness is also in the earth. It's very much of the earth. And even if you may not be aware of it or feel it, sometimes it's a faith type of practice to acknowledge its presence, even if you might not feel or perceive that you are connected. By your very breath and your very aliveness, you are connected. So taking some time just to allow for the eyes to rest on a spot in front of you, maybe 2 meters in front, and throughout the practice, paying attention to the eyes, allowing them just to continuously allow to rest in the skull. If you ever need to, just close the eyes for a moment, just to absorb and receive. And bringing to mind the intention that brings you here today. Maybe that intention is moving up from the heart, or moving up from the pelvis, the place of the earth and connection to life. Wherever it may be coming from, just allowing for its presence. And knowing that in this circle, in this meeting, that there's an interrelationship with all of us and that we are not practicing alone. We're going to speak our intention in some manner on your own, some way of a prayer or a mantra. In my case, I like to start with 3 ohms. And taking a deep breath in and just allowing the sound of the universe, the prayer, the intent to flow through you on the exhale. And allowing for the intention and the breath to rest in the space around us. Just take a moment here just to notice the quality of the breath. Maybe noticing if it's shallow or deep, maybe more towards the front or the back. And we're not trying to change anything. We're in this place of observation and curiosity. It's noticing the natural inclination of our breathing right now. And wherever your breath may be, allowing now for 5 breaths, and if possible, through the nose and out through the mouth. But whatever it is easiest for you now, we'll breathe in and out. And these last 3, maybe breathing in through the nose and out with a sigh. Last one, allowing that exhalation to be a little longer. So continuing to allow for the breath to continue to descend and deepen in the body. I'm going to go over the instructions for a type of breathing practice. We'll do 4 rounds of this breath. It's called a square breath. And it's called this because we are in equal parts, inhaling for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and holding for 4. So 4 points of the breath, and we'll do 4 cycles of this. So we'll start with an inhalation, 2, 3, 4, and holding 2, 3, 4, then exhaling 2, 3, 4, holding 2, 3, 4. That's the first cycle. Inhaling 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. And continuing on your own, inhaling for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Exhaling for 4 counts. And holding for 4 counts. And we'll do 2 more here. Allowing the eyes to rest. And just taking a moment and noticing if there's any subtle shift of doing this breath just for this short little while. Coming back to the normal rhythm for you of in and out. And see if you can hold that rhythm of in and out as we transition carefully, easily onto our backs, lying on our backs with our feet flat on the floor. And if you find that your chin is pointing up towards the ceiling, that's going to affect your breathing and the ease that you feel in your body. So you might want to get a folded mat to put under your head, but just making sure it's not too high either. So there's this idea of the head being able to be in alignment with the rest of the spine. If you'd like, you can try the square breath in this position as we continue to settle into the floor, just maybe trying 1 round here. And continuing steady breath, we're going to draw the knees up towards the chest. Let's start to do a few circles here with the knees. And as you do this, there will be a very gentle massage of the low back and of the tailbone, the hips, and switching directions. In general, I usually do 5 to 10 of movements. So if you're looking for a number just to follow within yourself, you're more than welcome to do that. And pausing in the center here, we're just going to take a moment just to feel the breath, feel the bones settling on the floor. From here, reaching the hands out wide, shoulder height, palms up here. And we're going to take this time to allow for the knees to fall over to the left. And sensing and feeling this twist in the body. This can be intense for some people in the spine. So if you need to, you can always move the top foot to rest on the floor so that one knee is up and the other knee is down. So in this case, the left knee is down on the floor and the right knee is pointing up towards the ceiling. And from here, just taking a moment just to turn your head right and left, just noticing the ease of movement, letting the jaw be soft. And from here, bringing the fingertips of the right hand to the top of the right shoulder and just moving this arm in and out. So the right hand is moving in and out, unfurling that elbow here. So inhaling, reaching out with that right hand, palms up. Exhaling, bringing that right hand back to top of shoulder. We'll do that 3 more times. Inhaling, reaching out. Exhaling, coming back. And in this last movement here, inhaling, reaching out with that right hand again, spreading through the palm and the fingertips, nice and wide. And from here, with the fingertips on the floor, see if you can drag the fingertips up over the head, turning the body so that now your side lying on the left side and the right and left hand meet. So we're doing this arc of movement with the fingertips and the head, bringing the right arm down by the right side of the body, the head looking down, and then up again. Inhaling, reaching up and around. Exhaling, reaching back. And some of you have probably reversed this in some way. So whatever breathing pattern you were using before, we're going to reverse that. So if you were inhaling with the arm going overhead, switch it now to exhaling. Inhaling as the arm comes down. Now, for some people, this movement might be too much. So for some of you, your fingers might be off the floor. That's okay. It's just finding that range of motion that's easeful for you. So we'll just do a few more of that movement so you can feel what actually gives you ease, what kind of range of motion, and maybe even turning the arm in the socket here, finding with the arm straight, just turning the thumb down and the thumb up. And letting the arm come to rest out to the right at shoulder height. We'll take 5 breaths here with a focus on the rib cage at the right, expanding the ribs, the space between the ribs. Connecting the sensation of the nerves of the arm to the ribs, the line of energy from the ribs to the long bones of the arms and the fingers. And inhaling, we're going to bring the knees back up to center, pausing here for a moment. And Just allowing for another breath here. So inhale, exhale, just really allowing yourself to release the breath. And in your next exhalation, bringing the knees over to the right now. Again, noticing the sensation in the back. Maybe this side is a little easier than the other. Maybe it's not. So adjusting your body according to what you need. So you might need to bring the left foot to the ground, just finding the position of the leg that works best for you. And we'll take 5 breaths, inhaling the palm nice and wide and bringing the fingertips towards the front of the left shoulder. Exhaling, inhale, spreading wide. Exhaling, fingers to shoulder. Inhaling, spreading the fingers wide. Going to let the head turn from right to left here. Just noticing the movement of the neck, easily rotating, looking from one hand to the other. Slowly, gently, carefully. And then from here, as you turn to look at your left hand, start to drag the fingers over the floor, reaching around towards the right hand, and then dragging them back. All along the left side, looking down towards the left side. So continuing that movement, finding the breath that works for you here. You might be inhaling with the arc over the head, exhaling as you go back in the other direction. Making sure to find that range of motion that's okay for your shoulders. So if it's too deep, the fingers don't have to be on the floor. Your arm might just be a little above the body or a foot off the body, off the floor. And we're going to switch directions of the breath. So if you were inhaling in one direction before, now switch it with exhaling. See if you can keep your eyes open for these last 2 here, if their eyes are closed, just so you can actually see what's happening. And we're going to, as we go into this last exhalation, bringing the hands together here for a moment and breathing in and out. Inhale, sliding the left hand towards the chest. And then as you exhale, pressing down with both arms and pressing yourself up into sitting. We're going to sit so that the legs are in a 90-90 position here. So in this position, this might be challenging for some people. So you're welcome to find the props and support that work for you. Some people need to sit on a small chair or have blocks underneath them like this, so that you are not, if you are restricted in your internal rotation. You can, the nice thing about blocks is you can kind of move up and down according to what you need. And we'll just start here with doing a few rotations here. And most of your weight is on this left hip here. So if the feet are pointing to the right, then the weight is on the left sit bone. And we're just doing some circles here, reversing directions. Just really feeling the sit bone, maybe even bringing the presence of awareness to the sit bones. And pausing here for Some breaths. And shifting the legs to the other side. And doing these circles on the right sit bone now. How can you smooth out this movement with your breath in a mindful way? And switching directions. See if you can really smooth this out through the full range of the circle, allowing for the breath to be smooth, consistent, and pausing here. Moving into a table position and moving any props out of the way. We're going to get on all fours so that the knees are under the hips. The hands are going to spread nice and wide. The heels of the hands about an inch in front of the shoulders, their shoulder height or shoulder width apart. And we're going to just take some time here, just really feeling the presence of the hands on the floor through the fingers. And we're going to go about this a little differently today by pressing the tops of the feet down on the floor and then pressing back with the fingers. And it's not a full range of motion in terms of going back into a child pose. You're kind of going halfway back. And then as you press forward, imagining the weight distributing through the palms of the hands, through the long bones inside the palms, all the way through the long bones into the fingertips. So pressing back and then pressing forward, but our presence and awareness is really at our hands and our wrists, and really taking care to tend to any tension that it is in our hands and wrists. The fingers make up a good portion of our sensory nervous system. So when we care for them, we're really caring for a lot of our nervous system. Now, for some of you, this might mean that you feel a little strain in one of your hands. I'm feeling a little more strain in my right hand today. So you want to elevate the heels of your hands so that the heel of the hand is up a little higher, and then spreading down so that the joints are more towards the floor. So the heels are higher than the joints. And then trying that. So just adjusting the positioning, making sure that you're able to really sense, feel with kindness. And the idea of this practice is we're not pushing ourselves. We're feeling the tension, melting the tension, and also working with our mind. Remembering the quality of breath. And from here, curling the toes under, we're going to move back into a downward dog. For some of you, if that's too much, you're welcome just to stay in this table position if you'd like. So we're going to inhale, rocking forward. Then as you exhale, start to lift the knees, pressing back through the heels of the hands, the fingers. And we'll take 5 breaths here. And in our last breath here, inhaling. And as we exhale, we're going to shift our weight over to the right leg.
Inhaling that left leg up and bringing that down. Inhaling that right leg up. Exhaling the right leg down. So just continuing that movement back and forth between both legs. Cycle of movement and lifting. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, lowering. In our next inhalation, shifting the body forward so that we're coming forward into a plank position and dropping the pelvis here. And as you drop the pelvis, start to drop the knees. We're going to drop the pelvis down towards the floor, dropping the body down and bringing the forearms down to the floor so that now we're resting with the front of the legs on the floor, and we're now on the forearms here. So in this particular movement, we're going to be working with backward extension, lifting through the chest. So from here, some of you might want to widen the fingers apart again and pressing down, start to lift. Now, for some of you, this might be a visualization. This might be as far as you can go, and already that might be a lot. So you can always lower yourself a little bit farther down if you'd like. Just finding that place where you can raise and lower the body, but really concentrating on lifting through the chest. Now, some of you can go up a little farther, but if you decide to go up a little farther, really concentrate on squeezing through the pelvic floor, dropping the tailbone, and pressing up. Exhaling as you press up. And we'll do one more. And coming back into a table position, so pressing yourself back into all fours. We're going to do some movements here with the hip by shifting our weight onto the right knee and sliding the left foot forward towards the left hand, pressing through the knee. And then bringing that knee back and then bringing the right foot forward towards the right hand, pressing through the knee and coming back to table. So it's this sliding kind of movement, a little bit. I was trying to figure out the best kind of animal for this. It's kind of a combination of lizard, but also kind of a frog. So it's a reptilian thing, I guess. But so sliding this left foot forward towards the left pinky. Now, it might be that you're tight. So if this is a challenge for you, don't go as far as you're causing any discomfort or dis-ease. Just exploring and finding this movement here and lubricating the hip joints. So we'll do two more. And if you're able to transfer the weight and your knee over your foot, which some people are wondering about if this is good or bad. Well, the truth is we need to have the knees over the foot to go downstairs. So to get up, we're going to come into standing. So slide whatever foot feels easier for you towards the same side hand and bringing the hands to the thigh. We're going to press ourselves up into standing. So taking some moments here just to appreciate the quality of breathing and
what's happening within your body right now. Feeling the presence of the bones of your heels. And feeling how the awareness now is shifting from the hands to the feet. We'll start to rock back and forth, spreading through the feet and the heels. And if you're working with a prosthetic, whatever is connecting with the earth, feeling, sensing the presence of that which stabilizes and balances you in relationship to the earth. And allowing for this exploration of moving front to back, using whatever props or chair or table to help you feel safe. Pausing in the center here for a moment between the left and the right sides of the body and between front and back. Noticing if the heart is still elevated a little bit from standing. And shifting the weight right to left here. And pausing. You may notice that as you sense into your connection with the earth, that there might be one side that you can feel more the front and the other side more the back. Just noticing how your weight is being distributed. And if you'd like, maybe just seeing if there's a very subtle shift that can occur in distributing the weight. We have to know where we are before we can move into another place. So being with this in the best way you can. And we'll go into what some people call a tree pose. So sometimes it helps to have a wall nearby if you've been more anxious than lately or just feeling unsteady. And we'll shift now the weight back and forth and coming to rest on the left leg. And as you press down through this left leg, engaging the thigh, pressing the knee back just a little bit, not so it's locked, but that it's engaged. And as you do that, start to press the left hip forward, engaging the hip. So there's this equal and opposite kind of squeezing of the thigh in the front and the buttocks in the back. And you'll notice that when you really concentrate on the left side, that you naturally unweight the right. In fact, it's even easier just to have the toes resting on the floor as you do this. Keeping the body nice and straight. Turning the knee out to the right. And bringing to rest the right heel on the inner ankle of the left. Noticing the engagement of the hips as you pause in this position. We're going to, if you'd like to continue, slide the foot up the inner calf or to the groin. Resting the foot above or below the knee, but not at the knee. And as you come into this final position of the pose, whichever place you've chosen to rest your foot, floor, calf, or inner thigh, let's take a moment to imagine the left hip, or even squeeze the left hip a little bit more, even as the right knee is pressing down. Lifting through the chest and sealing your intention with your hands palm together. allowing for a little smile at the edges of the mouth to release any armoring in the nervous system. Allowing the eyes to rest on the floor or on a spot about 2 meters in front of you. And to come out of this position, releasing the legs, releasing the hands. Just noticing the effects on that weight bearing and holding in the body. And shifting to the other side. So shifting again back and forth, left, right. Coming to rest on that right leg, engaging the right thigh. As you press that knee back, pressing the right hip forward. And you'll find that when you do that, the thigh and the gluteal muscles engage. Turning the left knee out and resting the heel of the left on the inner ankle of the right. You can stay right here if you'd like, sealing your intention with your hands at the heart. Or if you'd like to progress a little further, you can bring the foot to the calf. Allowing the eyes and the breath to soften, to smooth out, and bringing the foot up to the groin. If you'd like, squeezing that right hip in as the left knee presses down. Releasing the pose with the feet, the hands, and coming to stillness in standing. We're going to go into another standing pose that's a combination of a warrior 1 and 2, but really using the arms to draw the energetic space around us. It can be a circle of protection or of kindness or of love, whatever it is that you are really needing most right now. So we're going to come to the top of our mat. And from here, again, shifting the weight over to the left leg, engaging the thigh and the hip, stepping back with that right foot, and feeling the weight balance between the left and the right leg, hands at the left thigh, and just taking a moment here, just allowing the trunk, the pelvis to settle, the tailbone softening towards the earth, the top of the head, reaching for the sky. From here is inhaling the arms up at shoulder height, palms facing. For anyone who might be having any shoulder issues and they're starting to ache or hurt, you can also do this with the hands at the shoulder and lift through the elbows or have the elbows to the side. In all cases, we want to lift through the chest, lifting through the heart and softening the jaw. And your last breath here. And beginning into another 5 movements here, bringing the left hand to the left thigh. We'll inhale that right arm up and turning that right foot to face forward. We're going to reach back with that right hand and swing it down and up. And finding that Smooth inhalation, exhalation as we trace the space with the quality of kindness, compassion, the energy of love. Tracing this with our body wisdom through the fingertips and out beyond, through the feet into the earth, through the head to the sky, through the front and the back body. And this last one, sweeping the arm down, we're going to face over this left thigh, turning the arms, lifting through the arms and stepping the feet together. We'll inhale with the arms overhead, reaching back. And exhale, turning the palms out and exhaling the arms down by the sides. So we'll pause here for 2 breaths. And shifting the weight over to the right leg here, engaging that right thigh, right hip, stepping back with the left foot. The heel is off the ground on the left foot. So we're in this lunge position, but our weight is balanced between the left and the right legs. You might even want to check, make sure that the knee is over the ankle, not tilting too far out or in or forward or back. Taking some moments just to allow for the breath to find itself. Inhaling, lifting through the chest, the heart, pressing back with that left knee. Being the receiver of grace here as you breathe in. Exhaling your intention. Relaxing the toes. And from here, bringing that right hand down to the right thigh, we're going to start to turn the body, reaching back with that left hand, turning that left foot to face out towards the left. And we're going to turn and breathe through the arm. So tracing through the fingers, the length of the arm, the energetic space. You might even want to imagine that it's extending out a foot or 2 or 3 or 5 around you, filling the space with the goodness and whatever it is that is most healthy and healing for you. And last movement here, sweeping the arm forward over the right knee, both arms forward, and stepping your feet together. Reaching up, inhaling, turning the palms out, and exhaling the arms down. And taking a moment here to sense and feel the body, noticing the impact of this movement of energy and body through space. Very gently and carefully lower yourself down onto a seat. For those of you who like or know pigeon pose on the floor, you're welcome to do this position on the floor. So I'm going to show this in sitting on the edge of a chair, bringing the left foot in towards center and bringing the right ankle to rest on top of the left knee. So you're going to feel a little stretch in this outer right hip here. So just allowing the spine to be supple and upright. Allowing for the curves and the length through each rib and through each vertebral body, through each vertebra. So as you lift through the top of the head, the tailbone, the sit bones are pressing down equally through the chair. And then in your next exhalation, start to exhale the chest forward. And then start to release the head. Let the head hang, fall forward. And we'll take 5 breaths in this forward fold. Very gently breathing yourself back upright. Switching legs by bringing the left ankle to the right knee. Again, inhaling here, and as you exhale, moving, hinging forward over the right thigh. With every exhalation, maybe a little more movement forward, making sure to keep the back of the neck long, even as the chest is still lifting as you fold forward. And at a certain point, letting go of the chest, allowing your body just to fold forward, the chin moving towards the chest. And pressing yourself back up into sitting. Releasing the leg. And we'll take the last minute of our practice here in sitting. If you'd like to lie on the floor in your Shavasana, if there's any other pose with 5 breaths you'd like to do, then this is the time to do it. And for those of you, as we start into the sitting or lying down Shavasana, letting go of all technique, letting go of any remaining tension. And if it should so happen as our time runs out together, you're welcome to stay here and just rest, allowing the rest to be your meditation, giving your body and your mind what it needs. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Rita.